planet for me and you. E-A-R-T-H. Planet Earth is a happy place. E-A-R-T-H. Planet Earth is a happy place. Na 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 na. Let's see what we can do to save the planet for me and you. Let's see what we can do to save the planet for me and you. E is for environmental, keep it clean. If we stand together, we can make the best team. A is for the animals that we love, swimming and walking and flying above. Na 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 na. Let's see what we can do to save the planet for me and you. Let's see what we can do to save the planet for me and you. R is for recyclable waste. Again, separate the trash into the right bin. T is for traveling every day. Leave the car and walk this way. Na 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 na. Let's see what we can do to save the planet for me and you. Let's see what we can do to save the planet for me and you. H is for humans that we are. If we work together, we can go so far. E-A-R-T-H. Planet Earth is a happy place. Na 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 na. Let's see what we can do to save the planet for me and you. Let's see what we can do to save the planet for me and you. Let's see what we can do to save the planet for me and you. Let's see what we can do to save the planet for me and you.
After listening to the song, can you guess what our topic is, dear audience? If you didn't, you will get to know in our video. Watch till the end to know about the fun activities we did, and I hope you enjoy our video. We are Exhibition Group 6 Green Conservers from Grade 4C. Once our group members were decided, at first we made our essential agreements which would help us in this unit to work smoothly and in an organized manner. Here is our essential agreement chart.
Hello everyone! Our exhibition topic is ecosystem. You might think, how did we get the topic ecosystem? Let me share with you the whole process. First, we made a small paper posters, which are these, and wrote issues based on real life and connecting the 7 Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. Then, we analyzed from these issues and chose few of the issues. Then, we thought of which can be the best issue for our unit. And then, we finally got many votes for ecosystem. Most of our members were curious about to know about the ecosystem of the world.
Based on our issue ecosystem, we had to choose a sustainable development goals. And we found that 3 of the sustainable goals match with our issue. Those are life on land, life below water, climate action.
Then was the time to choose our theme relating to our issue and SDGs, as it's about the ecosystem, and we're all living and non-living live to survive and share a planet. We chose the transdisciplinary theme, sharing the planet. After finding out our issue, we proceed to make the matrix board. We all discussed and made a lot of central ideas and lines of inquiry and then chose the final one. The final central idea is world ecosystems are vulnerable and needs to be protected.
The lines of inquiry are different ecosystems and their interconnectedness, threats to different ecosystems, our responsibility towards conserving world's ecosystem.
After that, we thought a lot and decided which concept would be the most relevant among the 7 key concepts. And we chose causation, connection, and responsibility to be our concepts. And we choose interconnectedness, ecosystem, and conservation to be our related concepts.
So later, we had a common session where all the exhibition groups of grade 4 presented their matrix board to our head of primary, PYP coordinators and other mentors, and also rationalized why we should choose them. She gave us some feedback and we admitted our PPT according to the feedback. And then we finally started our research work on the first line of inquiry.
Tuning in stage, at first we created a solo taxonomy paper to see our level of understanding on different ecosystems. Later in KWL chart, we wrote our prior knowledge on the ecosystems. We also solved a worksheet to demonstrate our prior understanding of the ecosystems and the food chain. You can see this is the worksheet we worked on. While doing these activities, we used many thinking, social, communication skills, etc. to work more productively. We also had a lottery which chose our system and our pair for researching. We also went to a trip to the local sector for Park, Uttara, where from we gathered information on living and non-living things. After that, we made a Y chart on like sound like, look like, and feel like of the field trip.
Under the first line of inquiry, we got the opportunity to inquire about the six ecosystems, which are grassland, rainforest, savanna, desert, marine, and tundra. Then in pair, we did a week-long research on our chosen ecosystem and the interdependency within this ecosystem.
First, we collected and recorded data from different websites, books, reading materials, etc. Then we organized our collected data in PowerPoint presentations and Canva presentations. Later, we also made models on different ecosystems. It was a great experience working with our pair while making the models. Then we had our presentation on our chosen ecosystem.
And during the tuning in stage, we also watched a movie, Case the Ground, in a Zoom meeting. When we went home, one of my friends gave a movie link and we watched the movie Case the Ground. Over there, we have thoroughly watched about the food chain and the food cycle. We've gotten more information about ecosystem. And then when we came to the school, we made conceptual questions based on that.
Presenting our ecosystem really made us greatly communicators, as we had to showcase our acquired knowledge on the particular ecosystem confidently in front of all our group members. After the presentation, we asked the audience to ask us questions if they wanted to know more about it. Presenting the model is in the last part of our line of inquiry. Later, we had our first formative assessment, which we also created by us. We solved the Google quiz, then a comprehension, our ecosystems, and we also needed to draw a food chain. It was a peer checking. Our peer checked our formative paper with a rubric and also gave us a written back. This was the end of our first line of inquiry. So now let's take a look at our model making presentation.
Now let's enjoy the presentation of these models.
Good morning, dear friends and teachers. Today we're going to present our model on desert ecosystem. We are from Exhibition Group 6 and the Green Conservers. Our theme is sharing the planet and our mentor is Samantha. A desert is a very hot and dry place. It's the exact opposite of humid. There is a lot of water scarcity and vegetation isn't really a thing in deserts. The only source of water in deserts are oases. It barely rains in deserts, but when it does, it's only a few centimeters. Humans may live in deserts, but we need special survival tools as we're not used to such heat and water scarcity.
The Sahara Desert is the world's largest hot desert. The average temperature in a desert in the day can be 38 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius, but in the night it can turn to negative 3.9 degrees Celsius. Deserts are filled with sand, and sand can pile up, sometimes creating small hill-like sand domes. The abiotic components in a desert are sand, sun, air, and soil.
Now I'm going to talk about the bio-components in a desert. There are a lot of animals and plants in deserts. They would think deserts are, well, deserted. Under animals, there can be meerkats, camels, desert snakes, sand cats, desert leopards, meerkats, kangaroo rats, and a lot other animals. Under plants, there can be elephant trees, cactus, aloes, ades, and a lot more.
As with all food chain, in desert, the food chain also starts with the sun. The sun produces energy, and the energy gets transferred into the plants. Some insect nibbles on the plant and suck the nectar from it, which transfers the energy from the plant to the insect. When a bird eats the insect, the energy is transferred into the bird. It goes on and on until one animal goes extinct and the other wins. One more specific example of the food chain in a desert ecosystem starts from a assassin bug which eats plants, and then the bug gets to be the supper for a hawk. A fox later on preys on the hawk. Animals can have different food for certain time, such as hawks can have tarantulas, scorpions, mice, and even insects. Thank you for being such patient listeners. We hope you enjoyed our presentation.
Good morning, dear friends and teachers. My name is Samri.
My name is Satin.
Today, Satim and I, we're gonna be presenting our model making on grassland.
A grassland is an area which consists animals, plants, trees, and other organisms.
You may be asking, what are the different types of animals that live in grassland? There are different types of animals that live in grassland. For example, bisons, zebras, lions, tigers, kangaroos, etc. These are the bigger types of animals that live in grassland. But you may be wondering, what are the small types of animals that live in grassland? The small types of animals that live in grassland are rabbits, different types of insects, different types of birds, and different types of species.
What's the biotic factors of grassland? The biotic factors of grasslands are grass, trees, and other organisms.
These are the biotic factors are basically the living things. The biotic factors that live in grasslands are like rock, mud, sand, etc. These are the non-living things, basically. You may be wondering, what is the temperature in grassland? Well, it really depends on the season and the weather. For example, in winter, it is below 0 degrees Fahrenheit. But in summer, the temperature is above 90 degrees Fahrenheit.
Thank you. Hope you enjoyed.
We hope you learned something new from our presentation. If you have any questions, you're free to ask.
Forest with tall trees, a warm climate, lots of rain, and receives lots of sunlight. The temperature here is from 34 degrees Celsius to 20 degrees Celsius. There are 4 layers of this forest: emergent layer, canopy layer, understory layer, and the last one, forest layer. Food is abundant to many animals, since hardly any sunlight reaches the forest floor. Mostly things like foods and plants starts decaying and decomposing, making the soil more fertile. Tropical rainforests are the most biologically diverse terrestrial ecosystem in the world. The Amazon rainforest is the world's largest tropical rainforest. It is home to around more than 100 million plant species, bird species, types of fishes, species of mammals, different insects, etc.
Plants that are available in rainforest are giant water lily, banana trees, coffee plants, orchids, avocado guava, etc.
Animals that lives in rainforest: bats, spider monkeys, butterflies, different insects, types of parrots, different frogs, pythons, eagles, jaguars, tigers, etc.
Few abiotic factors are smelly pond or streams, soil, rocks and pebbles, rain, air and sunlight.
These are some of the rainforests around the world. Amazon rainforest in South America, Congo rainforest in Africa, Kinabalu National Rainforest in Malaysia, and many more.
Photosynthesis. Photosynthesis absorbs the carbon dioxide and produces the oxygen that we need for breathing.
Food chain. Basically, sunlight and water helps plants and grass grow. Then, the primary consumers, which are insects, eats the plants and grass. Then, snakes, the secondary consumers, eats the insects. And then gets eaten by hawks. When hawks die, they decomposes into fungi, and this process continues. The reasons that animals living there is because the temperature and weather is ideal and suitable for the animals living there. For example, the warm and moist weather is ideal for reptiles and amphibians. Thank you for listening to our presentation. Hope you enjoy and learned something new.
Good morning, dear friends and teachers. My name is Migori.
And my name is Narvin, and our team is Sharing the Planet.
Today we are going to be presenting our model on the marine ecosystem.
We researched on both freshwater and marine ecosystem, but decided to do our model on the marine ecosystem.
Before we get into the features of marine ecosystem, let's know what the marine ecosystem actually is. The marine ecosystem is an aquatic environment with habitats which make up the population which makes up the community, and community which makes up the ecosystem underwater.
Now let's get into the features of the marine ecosystem. This is the Arctic. It is the most biologically active ecosystem. It is filled with snow, penguins, polar bears, etc.
When we go under the Arctic, deep under the Arctic, we can see the sea floor. It is the deepest, most darkest part of the marine ecosystem. It is filled with colorful corals and glowfish which only shine brighter in the dark.
In the marine ecosystem, there are sea plants such as seaweed, algae, etc. The photosynthesis happens the same way it does on plant. The plant sucks the water and the sunlight produces its own food and starts up the food chain.
The food chain. As you already know, the food chain starts with seaweed. Seaweed gets eaten by zooplanktons. Zooplanktons get eaten by chiagnats and jellyfish. Those two get eaten by little fish. Little fish get eaten by bigger fish. Bigger fish get eaten by sharks, seabirds, and dolphins and orcas.
This is the coral reefs. It is home to many living beings under the oceanic surface. It is the only one species of living rocks, and it is bright, colorful, and also sometimes glows in the dark.
That is the end of our presentation.
Hope you enjoyed and learned something new.
And remember, dream green, breathe green, and we will be evergreen.
Good afternoon, dear friends and teachers. My name is Sheikh Sabir.
And my name is Nashra.
We're from grade 4C, and our mentor's name is Hunayn Islam. We're from group 6, and the theme of our unit is Sharing the Planet. Today, we have a model here on the ecosystem savanna. We will be covering a brief information about the savanna. Before we start, I'm going to tell you a little about what is an ecosystem. An ecosystem is a place where different animals and living organisms stay together. It is basically a habitat of community. So, in an ecosystem, there is both non-living things and living things. In an ecosystem, there is always a food chain. Now, my friend Nashra is going to share some information about the savanna.
This is the savanna. A savanna is a mixture of woodland and grassland. Savanna has scattered shrubs and isolated trees. Savannas are nearby countries like Africa, South America, Australia, Burma, Thailand, etc.
Did you know there are more than 4 seasons in the savanna? But basically there are mainly 4. The first one is winter. In the savanna, on wintry days, the temperature is around 30 degrees. The temperature is around 29 degrees to the lowest of 10 degrees. Next we have the summer. In the summer, savanna's temperature is around 30 degrees to the maximum of 45 degrees. In spring, the temperature in the savanna is around 25 degrees to the maximum of 29 degrees. In autumn, it's actually very rare in savanna to have autumn, as there isn't many raindrops in the savanna, so there aren't many chances of autumn. But when it does happen, the temperature is around 15 degrees to the maximum of 29 degrees.
The abiotic factors of savanna are soil, water, rocks, temperature, and climate. These are the abiotic factors of savanna.
Now I'm going to be talking about the biotic factors. The biotic factors in savanna, well, you guessed it. It mostly contains animals. Animals such as cheetahs, tigers, zebras, giraffes, hippos, lions, etc. are stated in the savanna. Now you might be asking, why are tigers in the savannas? Shouldn't they be in rainforests and jungles where there is more water? Well, there are certain types of tigers in the savanna, like there are certain types of kangaroos in different places.
The plants which are found in savanna are acacia, baobab, and other special plants which grows in savanna. We all know that in every ecosystem there is a food chain. So the main source and energy for the food chain is sun, since most of the food chains start with plants.
Now, as every ecosystem is a food chain, the food chain of the savanna ecosystem, well, is pretty diverse. The food chain of the savanna ecosystem starts with the producer. The producer is the producer which gives food to the main people. Some of these are like plants, herbs, etc. Then we have the primary consumers, which are the herbivores who eat these plants to feed themselves. In the secondary consumers, we have the omnivores who eat the herbivores and herbs and grasses to feed themselves. And the last part is the tertiary consumers. The tertiary consumers is mainly about carnivores. As we can see as an example, tiger is hunting the zebra, an act of a carnivore, which is affecting the food chain. And over here, for a little bit more context, 2 cheetahs are actually going to steal the tiger's target, which is the zebra. Over here, sometimes the herbivores and the omnivores, which are stronger than their predecessor, like the predator, which is in a lion and a warthog. The warthog is trying to rebel against the lion, because the warthog is a little bit stronger than the lion. But warthog is pushing down the lion so that he cannot hunt anymore for their own good. Now over here we can see a little pond. As there isn't much raindrop in the savanna, there are very low efforts of ponds. As every tree is 1.3 meters away from each trees, there are main differences and many raindrops. Thank you everyone. That's going to be enough for our presentation.
Hope you enjoyed our presentation. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Ira. And I'm Ryan.
Today we are here to present our model making presentation on the ecosystem topic. We are from Group 6, Green Conservers, and our mentor is Sona Islam.
And a team we are working on Sharing the Planet. As you can see, this is our model. Our model is on the tundra ecosystem, specifically on the Arctic tundra.
You must be wondering, what is tundra? Tundra is a very cold and windy area where snowfall and ice are very common. Summer always brings a burst of wildflowers in this area because it's covered in snow most of the time. A lot of biotic and abiotic components live in tundra.
So I'm gonna say the biotic factors. Biotic factors are mammals, birds, insects, fishes, etc. Some examples are polar bears, seals, penguins, snowshoe hare, etc.
Some abiotic factors are glaciers, snow, water, rocks, etc.
Some fishes have special adaptations to live in the cold waters of the tundra ecosystem. They have special chemicals in their fluids so they won't freeze to death.
Some animals can inhabit the tundra because of their fluffy fur and the fat, which helps them during the very cold winter weathers. The fat helps them protect them from the winds. Sometimes they also store food from the summer weathers for winter so that they don't have to go hunting or find food during the cold winters. Now I will you the food chain of the camera above that. The food chain starts with the sun. The sun hits the tussock grass, and the tussock grass is then eaten by the rabbit. The rabbit gets eaten by the Arctic fox, and the Arctic fox is finally eaten by the tertiary consumer, which is the Arctic wolf. As you can see here, we gave some examples for like Arctic wolves, or like fox, or like some polar bears.
Now I'm going to talk about the underwater food chain of the ecosystem. The underwater food chain is started by a single-celled organism called diatoms. Those diatoms are eaten by small fishes and shrimps. Then the shrimps are eaten by small fishes. Then the small fishes are eaten by tuna fishes. Tuna fishes are eaten by large sharks. And when the large sharks die, their body falls into the sea floor, and their body becomes a fungi area, so seaweed can grow there.
As you can see here, we gave some examples of the animals that inhabit them. We couldn't get all the animals, but we tried out. There's some Arctic snow geese, there's some Arctic fox, there are polar bears, and some Arctic bears. We also gave a whale that is representing the fishes. Thank you. That's it from our side. Hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
And remember, green, and be evergreen.
Now let's move on to the second line of inquiry, which is threats to different ecosystems. This time, before we started our research work, we formulated some concept-based questions, and we also did some prior knowledges. Then we did a week-long research work, as you can see here. It was a very informative and fun time. Then some groups, to present their data, did some debates, some talk shows, and even some news reports. Now some of my friends will go more in detail about what happened in the research work.
Our second line of inquiry consists of many areas such as global warming, climate change, air pollution, deforestation, bycatch, illegal wildlife trade, soil degradation and land pollution, infrastructure, illegal fishing, and water pollution. I'm going to be talking about deforestation. You may ask, why is deforestation happening? It's mainly because cutting down of trees. We need trees and woods in our daily life. For example, for furniture, paper, structures, etc. For furniture, we need wood because they're made out of wood, and for that, we are having to cut down more trees. And also, paper. Paper is made out of wood. And if we misuse paper, there is going to be more production of wood. That time, people have to cut down more wood, and if there is no trees, then it will be a lack of oxygen, and it will be bad for the environment and the ecosystem. And it will also ruin different animals' habitats because they're not going to be in the wild and nature. So there might be a break in the food chain, and as a result, the animals will have no food. And if it continues for years and years, the animals might get extinct. My friend Ira is going to be talking about illegal wildlife trade.
Yes, now I'll be talking about the illegal wildlife trade. It's not a really burning issue in the world, but it's really important to us and the animal kingdom. It's affecting the whole kingdom. Now, what is illegal wildlife trade? Illegal wildlife trade trafficking is a big business in the whole world. Wildlife and animal parts are trafficked by dangerous worldwide networks in the same way that illegal drugs and weaponry are. It is nearly impossible to collect solid numbers for the value of the illegal wildlife trade due to its very nature. The Wildlife Trade Monitoring Network traffic estimates that it is a billion-dollar business. Animals like lion, deers, elephants, tigers, and more are commonly poached. This illegal wildlife trafficking is making animals go extinct and endangered. It is also affecting the food chain and the animal kingdom. Now my friend Nashra will share some information on soil degradation and land pollution. Oh, hello. Now I'm going to talk about soil degradation and land pollution. So mainly, soil degradation is the decreasing of soil quality and fertility. And land pollution is polluting the land by throwing trashes here and there instead of throwing it to the beach. These have negative effects in the world. So soil degradation is affecting the world by the less fertility is not good for trees for plantation. for which we get a result of less trees, and which is a part of, and trees are a part of our whole life. So oxygen. So oxygen, if we don't get it, we're going to suffer to live. Then comes land pollution. Land pollution is a very common thing. The land pollution, we throw trashes here and there, which is affecting the air as well. And when we plant trees there, the trees can't grow appropriately. Then animals eat those plastics and waste, and then they also suffer for the whole lifetime.
Now I'm going to tell about water pollution. Water pollution is a big threat to marine life. Oceans are polluted by oil on a daily basis from oil spills, routine shopping, runoffs, and dumping. Oil spills make up 12% of the oil that enters the ocean. The rest come from shipping travel, trade, and dumping. The major cause responsible for water pollution is definitely the industries that dump waste into water bodies. They do not properly treat the waste and directly dump the harmful toxins in the water. So now let's see some of our friends' presentation on this research information.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Good Mythical Mornings. I'm your host, Arasa Bahad, live from the Aga Khan School, Dhaka, Bangladesh. Today I have a special guest, Cynthia Carson, here today to talk about the threats to different ecosystems. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, dear audience. My name is Cynthia Carson. I work at a local shelter for animals, and I also to help them, and I also work with different ecosystems to prevent animals from getting extincted.
Thank you for you. So I have a question for you. Different animals get caged up in zoos and safari parks. So do you think is it right or wrong? What's your opinion?
I think it's wrong because the animals aren't getting to stay at their home. It's the wild, and they should be free. And they're also having to change the habitat, so that's not right because the animals shouldn't be changing themselves.
Okay. So while you are saying your answer, I just got information that our second guest, Dylan Jokel, just arrived. So now please welcome Dylan Jokel.
Hello! My name is Dylan Jokel and I'm very honored to be here.
Please sit down.
Yes. Thank you everyone for inviting me here. My name is Dylan Jokel, the chairman of the Safari Park, Bangabundu Safari Park in Gazipur. I'm very honored to be here and I hope I can answer all your questions.
Thank you. Thanks for coming to our show.
Yeah.
So me and Cynthia were talking about the animals being caged up in zoos and safari parks. She thinks that it's not right. So what's your opinion about it?
Well, I think, yeah, it's pretty wrong for them to be caged up. But the thing is, even if I was like away from my family, and even if I was away from my location and my birthplace, obviously I would be sad. But the thing is, when we keep them in the wild jungle, there are many wild animals like carnivores which want to eat them, and well, they're in danger. They're always scared. They're always scared from when they will get attacked.
Yeah.
So I think it's the best for them to actually go into a safe place. So that's where we bring them.
Okay.
That's actually what I think. But I think, yeah, it's a bad thing that we're caging them, but it's also a good thing at a time, as well, they're not in danger anymore. And I think danger comes above everything.
Okay, yeah, sure. Do you have anything to say about it?
Of course, he's right, but the animals are having to change their habitat because they're having to go to a different environment because the forest and the safari park are totally different. So they have the right to stay in the wild, or else gradually they will get extinct.
Hey, alright, I want to add something there. So, as you're talking about extinct, the thing is, we made artificial homes for them in our safari park. The thing is, if they would stay in the wild, obviously they would still get extinct as they're in danger. The fact we have made the safari park is that there are artificial habitats, homes for them to reproduce, and they have many good food and stuff, etc. They have all the supplements for them, and we are keeping them out of danger, which is making them, well, unable to go extinct, and well, it is actually making them feel more better and unendangered.
But is it as good as the real forest or jungle?
Yes, it is
they
way
have?
better. I'll tell you how. In our safari park, we provide them everything, from food, supplements to
Okay.
gas. But the thing is, in the city, they do not get enough gas or the fresh pollution, the fresh air they used to get in the jungle, which can, well, might lead them to extinction. That is a 10% chance, but it can happen.
Okay,
So
yeah. Okay.
yeah, if we try to keep our city clean and if we try to keep our pollution, if we try to lower the pollution rate in our city, maybe we could just bring them in the city and maybe we can keep them more safe.
Oh, I never thought about that. That's a great point.
Okay, now let's move on from this question. I have a question for Dylan. So you work in a safari park, right? Do you face any like threats or with the animals or the habitats they live in?
Well, I'll tell you what. Yes, we do feel threats. I'll tell you one. The most common threat of our safari park is sometimes when the animals are stubborn and they don't want to eat, we can't just feed them because they're stubborn and they don't want to eat. So yeah, so in that factor we have another factor which is the tourists. The tourists are another factor because sometimes the animals get uncomfortable when they do. And the thing is, there's also the temperature. For the temperature, we can't actually just control it. For example, for camels, they need to be in the desert temperature, which is really uncomfortable for us.
I get you, but the animals are getting. Doesn't the animals get uncomfortable because the visitors are always looking at them, and then they get uncomfortable.
Okay, let's move on from this question. I have some questions for you about your profession. You work as an animal rescuer, right? So, like, what type of animals do you rescue and, like, from where?
I normally rescue smaller types of animals that need more help and need more care, and I rescue them from streets. And I try to give the attention. I try to give my attention to the animals that need more help. For example, who are injured more and need my help and need proper vet care.
That's it for today. We're running out of time. We request the government to reduce the pollution in the world so that our nature can be balanced and the animals can stay safe in their homes. And the audience, I have a quick homework for you. What's your responsibility towards the animals and the ecosystems of the world? Write down to us in our Instagram, Facebook, or on YouTube. Bye! Good morning, dear audience. My name is Miss Sophie, and today we're here to talk about the different threats to various ecosystems. And today our guests are Mr. Depp and Miss Parker. So now let's welcome our guests and start the show. We welcome you both to our talk show. Today, our issue to discuss about are the different threats to various ecosystems. So now we would like Mr. Depp to talk about one of the threats to different ecosystems.
Sure, I'd love to talk about bycatch because it's the most common threat to the marine ecosystem in most places. So you guys might be wondering what bycatch is. Well, basically, bycatch is marine species unintentionally getting caught while fishing for other species to sell. Bycatch is either the incorrect, wrong gender, or use of the targeted species. Bycatch is a threat to the marine ecosystem because fishes are dying because of it.
Thank you, Mr. Depp, for letting us know about bycatch. Now, I would like Ms. Parker to also let us know about another threat.
Why not? I'll start off deforestation and forest degradation. So you guys might be thinking, what is deforestation and forest degradation? Deforestation is mainly cutting of trees and damage of trees, and forest degradation is the reduction in the capacity of a forest to produce various services for the ecosystem. These threats are affecting the ecosystem, which mostly contains trees like savanna, rainforest, and many more.
Thank you, Ms. Parker. I believe I'm also aware of another hazard to our ecosystem: oil and gas development. Climate change is fueled by dangerous emissions. Oil and gas production has the potential to devastate wildlife. Visitors are turned off by fossil fuel extraction. Wildlife habitat is disrupted by drilling. Animals can die as a result of oil spills. Now let's talk about oil and gas development and know what it actually is. It's actually a development buildup for oil or gas production in a proven producing area. An investigation well, on the other hand, is one that is originally drilled to find oil or gas in an unproven location. Dry or unsuccessful development wells are thus more uncommon than dry exploratory wells.
Thank you, Miss Sophie. We got a clear idea about oil and gas development.
Mr. Depp, could you tell us about a common threat to the ecosystem?
Sure. A common threat to the ecosystem is climate change, because it is when the climate suddenly changes because of human activities. Climate change can bring natural disasters which might affect all of the ecosystems.
Thank you, Mr. Depp. Miss Parker, could you tell us about any threat which affects the marine ecosystem?
Yes, a threat which affects the marine ecosystem is illegal fishing. Illegal fishing is also like baggage, but a bit different. Illegal fishing takes place when vessels or harvesters operate in violation of the laws of fishery. Illegal fishing also decreases the amount of marine species which is affecting the marine ecosystem.
Thank you, Ms. Parker, for letting us know about the threat which affects the marine ecosystem. Now, Mr. Depp, could you tell us about the illegal wildlife trade?
Sure. So basically, wildlife smuggling is a lucrative business. Wildlife and animal parts like ivory from elephants and skins and bones from tigers are some examples of illegal wildlife trade. Illegal wildlife trade is also making many animals heavily endangered.
Thank you, Mr. Depp, for telling us about illegal wildlife trade. Now, Ms. Parker, can you tell us about infrastructure?
Why not? Infrastructure is a system of people or public works of a country or a state or a city. Infrastructure is a very, very big threat to the ecosystem. Infrastructure is causing and can cause hazards in animal habitat and animal food chain.
Thank you, Ms. Parker, for letting us know about infrastructure. Now, I would like Mr. Depp to tell us about overfishing.
So a brief explanation of overfishing is catching too many fishes at once, which decreases the breeding population, and it is also a common threat to the marine ecosystem.
Thank you, Mr. Depp, for telling us about overfishing. And we would like you to also tell us about pollution.
Sure, why not? So basically, the introduction of chemical pollutants into the environment is referred to as pollution. Pollutants are the name for these damaging compounds. Volcanic ash, for example, is a natural pollution. Human actions can also cause them, such as garbage or factory waste. Toxins cause chaos in the environment, including the air, water, and land. There are three major types of pollution, which are air pollution, water pollution, and land pollution.
Thank you, Mr. Depp and Ms. Parker, for joining us in our session.
Good morning, dear friends and teachers. I'm Samia.
I'm Amrin.
And I'm Ryan.
Today we're going to do a role play on threats to different ecosystems. So what are we waiting for? Let's begin. Amrin,
What?
wasn't it fun yesterday at the safari park?
Yeah, we saw lots of cute animals that were having such fun. And they were even happy to see us.
Ew, I just went there because of my friends and also had fun with my friends, not with animals. Oh my God.
Hello.
Hi.
How was the safari park? It was so great and cool, especially the animal part, right?
Yes, I know, right? It was fun.
Oh, they're everywhere. Oh my God.
Do you know how important they are in our lives?
I don't need to know, okay?
What do you mean you don't need to know?
Of course you need to know about animals. They help in many ways.
But nowadays, many people around the world hate animals like you. Even though animals helps us in many ways, some people barely even care to notice.
Sometimes people kill, harm, and abandon their own pets.
Oh, so are you saying that animals are in danger and they need our help? Am I going to leave all my work and help animals now? Is that what you mean?
No, that's not what we mean. We just want to make you know that how important animals are in our lives and they're not getting noticed. We just want to make you notice that they are much more than helpless living beings.
Helpless living things. Oh, now I kind of understand. But why do they need our help?
Animals are dying of hunger and sudden change of climate, and they're getting threatened by humans too.
Okay, but where do they need our help?
Only we humans can change each other. We can change the climate and we can grow more trees so the animals get more food to eat.
Yeah, that's right. Now I understand.
Another thing, did you know that global warming refers to the rise in global average temperature? It has to deal with the Earth's overall climate, not the weather on any individual day.
Really?
Yeah, that's true. Global warming is harming animals and the world too.
We, as the future generation, need help from the animals, and the world is listening to greed. We need to stop that and help all the animals out there, and also save the planet Earth.
Yes, now I know why animals are important in our life. They need our help and we should help them. You know, they're so cute and innocent. They're not getting noticed by anyone. And now I know how important they are in our lives.
Now that Samia knows that animals are important, they are getting harmed, she is going to try to help them. I'm glad she learned her lesson. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's 12th May 2022, talking our channel Green Conservers. Today's topic is threats to the ecosystem. I have with me some special guests, soil scientist Dr. Smith, marine researcher Tracy Thompson, ex-industrialist Christina Harper, and climatologist Benjamin Franklin. Starting with Dr. Smith here.
Good morning. I'm very pleased to be here today.
And us are very pleased to have you here. Could you tell us how soil degradation is impacting the ecosystem?
Our agriculture is gravely dependent on the soil, so it is one of the most important abiotic factor on Earth. Soil degradation is basically also happening because of corrosion erosion. The soil degradation of microorganisms and soil fertility, it further kills organic matter. This trait not only concerns us humans, all living beings.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Could you tell us exactly how soil degradation affects other living things, but also as humans?
Okay. All living things are affected by soil degradation, as the soil is the single only thing important in the food chain, as plants grow in soil. So we need to preserve it. Just imagine we think of soil as a grimy substance, but really it is.
Now moving on to ex-industrialist Christina Harper.
I am so happy to be here today.
And we're happy to have you with us here today. So, could you tell us how infrastructure and urbanization is impacting the ecosystem?
Urbanization. Urbanization is negatively impacting all ecosystems around the world. It is taking up natural space meant for plants and animals. As a result, plants and animals have nowhere to go. They end up starving and dead. It is a very sad story. Infrastructure is also a very big stumbling block to all ecosystems. For example, there is a river flowing and there's certain chances of it overflowing, so industrialists think, let's put a dam here. And they did. Do you know what happens to all the fishes, microorganisms and trees there? They die. And that is why we really need to take action against this.
Thank you, Christina, for sharing this with us. Infrastructure, it might be harmful to the environment, but it's also very important. Could you share with us how we can protect the ecosystem while also developing infrastructure?
Very good question. Answer is very simple. All we need to do is, while construction and design planning, take in factor that the environment matters. If we do, then infrastructure urbanization will never be a stumbling block.
Thank you, Christina, for sharing this. What you just mentioned also comes with another issue, deforestation. Deforestation is cutting down trees. Trees are very important to us, as we all know, because it provides us with oxygen. Oxygen is a key factor in our lives since we need it to live. Trees are illegally or legally cut. It can be done both. Water scarcity is also an issue. Water is very important in our life, and 97% of the Earth's water is ocean water, but we cannot drink any of that 97% since it's salty. The remaining 3% is fresh water, but 2% of that is frozen. There's only 1% left, which is fresh, drinkable, liquid water. But we're wasting this 1% of water, and we need to preserve it. Now we're going to learn about another issue, which is the threats marine ecosystem is facing. We're going to learn this from climatologist Dr. Benjamin Franklin.
Hi. Thank you for calling me. Global warming, you say. Global warming is caused by greenhouse like carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, and CFC, which go up to the ozone zone layer, leaving heat cut and making the temperature hot. Climate change is the carbon abnormal temperature on the Earth's surface.
I would like to call marine researcher Tracy Thompson on the stage.
I'm so excited that you invited me here today.
And we are too. Could you tell us what threats the marine ecosystem face?
Of course, I can tell you all about the threats that marine creatures and fish face. The two biggest ones are bycatch and illegal fishing. Bycatch is the accidental capture of non-targeted species. Illegal fishing is fishing without legal permission. These can lead to extinction of rare species and even mass extinction. They can also lead to a lot of human hunting and just simply so much extinction.
Thank you, Tracy. I know these are very big threats, but I'm pretty sure these aren't as common as the other threats. Can you share us a few more threats in the water bodies?
You're right, they're not the most common. The most common is overfishing. Overfishing is negatively impacting the entire world. If we address it, it will positively impact the whole world, not just the marine ecosystem.
Thank you, Tracy, for sharing this with us. We were happy to have you here. Dear audience, I hope you learned something from today's session. It is time to start thinking about these issues and take action to preserve ecosystem and take responsibility before the earth starts falling apart. Thank you, Tracy, for your valuable and precious time with us here today. I'm Natalie Portman, and this is the GC News.
Here we go with our third line of inquiry. Our third line of inquiry, our responsibility towards conserving the world ecosystem. It began with a guest speaker session who talked us about what are our responsibilities, how can we do it. He gave us information and context about the local ecosystem, which helped us to understand our country better. Then we started making a booklet with his information and with few researches. The booklet was based on our responsibility towards conserving the world ecosystem, our third line of inquiry. Then we had another guest speaker who talked about conserving the biodiversity, effects of climate change in air, water, and gas. She also gave us few organization names which are working for the nature.
Later, at the going further stage, we went to the Bangamundo Safari Park. This field trip was on a weekend as it was a student-initiated field trip. The visit to the safari park gave all of us a vivid understanding of how different animals are surviving in their own ecosystem.
This field trip was a fruitful one as we got to see practical of what kind of environment is needed for each different type of wild animals. It helped us understand that we need to take good care of our nature and control climate change. We focused on the profiles and skills that we demonstrated throughout the field trip.
During the going further and making connection stage, we tried to integrate our unit learning in Bangla and English language. We did comprehension, translation, reading Bangla unit related stories, writing guest speakers, reflection, and more. This way we got a clear knowledge, conceptual understanding, and we also enhanced our vocabulary.
We tried our best to integrate math as well. At first, we drew a bar graph by collecting information on area covered by different ecosystems of the world. We also interpreted the data. We also formulated word problems. Using 4 operations by using unit-related vocabularies.
We tried our best to integrate single subjects as well. We applied the visual art skills and resources to make the model of ecosystems. In music class, we composed an ecosystem-related song using our music skills. From ICT class learnings, we applied different IT tools to make group learning. We made online booklets too.
During the taking action part of the inquiry cycle, we first made an action plan through Canva presentations, PowerPoint presentations, chart works, and other multiple intelligence. Then we shared our action plan with our team members. Many of us came up with realistic ideas to make this plan sustainable.
We came up with ideas to aware people around us about the negative impacts of not conserving nature. We made posters and we went to the primary building of our school to create awareness amongst our junior friends. This way, we tried to bring changes in our lifestyle choices within us and also others' lifestyle.
We also arranged a buy and selectivity where our friends were responsible to prepare different things with low or no-cost resources. We did a very hard work making things like bookmarks, kunais, ninja stars, notebooks, pencil holders, friendship bands, etc.
I know I would be nothing without you. So lean on me whenever you have to, my dearest friend.
We used our creativity and creative thinking skills. We're very proud that our effort was finally successful. We're very happy that our customers liked our stationeries.
Through this pencil activity, we demonstrated our organization skills as well as our creativity. Then we found a perfect organization named Green Savers. It goes with Green Conservers, which is our group name. Then we donated the raised money to the following organization, and then they will plant trees all over our country. Soon there will be a lot of plants in everywhere. This way we can sustain the Mother Earth, and if we keep taking these little steps of advocacy action, we can save the world.
During our Taking Action planning, we also had our summative, which is a reflection and culmination of our learning for the unit.
In the summative, we had to reflect on all the lines of inquiry and apply the knowledge on different situations. Though in the summative, we had to apply all our acquired knowledge as on different ecosystems. Threats of ecosystems and our responsibilities towards ecosystem would apply as well.
For the purposes of exhibition, we had to do our reflection writing on our journal copy. Every single day we had to write our reflection on that day, like weakness, happiness, challenges, and more, and also our achievement.
This is how our learning engagement took place. We thoroughly enjoyed preparing our own unit of our choice, preparing our own assessment papers, role plays, presentations, making group t-shirts, writing speeches, recording, editing, and whatnot.
All these wonderful things happen because of those wonderful people working behind the scenes.
About our old exhibition process, our teachers and the whole Aga Khan community has supported us and guided us to achieve our goals.
Before we end our presentation, I would like to convey our heartfelt thanks to all the single subject teachers, cooperative administrative, hardworking support staff and guards, our guest speakers, our respected leadership team of our school community, our supportive parents, and of course, how can we forget our mentors? A very big thank you for being with us till the end of our exhibition. Now, let's enjoy some behind the scenes clips of our exhibition.